starting one Sunday? Yeah.
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we got Cody back healthy, and we'll go through the weekend and let Coach make those decisions. So we'll both prepare and get ourselves ready to go, and then whatever he deems the best for our team, we'll get behind that and go.
It seems to be a difficult situation, just being on the outside looking in when you look at the situation and between you and Cody, obviously your teammates, you're close, but
Yeah.
both of you guys want to play. I mean, it feels like an interesting dynamic. You just touch on that from
Yeah.
your guys' perspective.
Yeah,
being in the room.
it's not difficult at all because we both want to play and we both want to do what's best for the team, and we both want to help each other play the type of football that's necessary for this team to win games. And I said it before, but I think obviously, especially when you're 0-8, you're all for whatever it takes to get us a win. And so it's the difficulty is. I guess not. It's not difficult, but it's the challenge for us is every day getting up. When things haven't gone our way, for 8 weeks in a row to get back up and to reload and to come back to work the same way. But today it started off great, and I don't think it'll be any different. And it's a credit to, like I've said before, it's a credit to the leadership that we have in the locker room and up top. Just Coach Jackson provided an environment where we come and compete and work to get better. So Cody and I will just follow that lead and keep going.
Josh, maybe it's a difficult decision for Hue Jackson. Maybe it's not. We'll find out. But do you think it would be an easy decision if you guys would have won that game and maybe you wouldn't have thrown those 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter? There would have been no decision to be made?
I don't know. I can't speak for Coach Jackson, and so the reality is, that happened, and so whatever he decides is best for our team, we'll line up and do that. And so it's hard for me to say. But, obviously, like I said Sunday after the game, I just wish it wouldn't have happened, and we would have got a win, because that's all I care about is for us to get a win. We need to get our first one, and we didn't do that Sunday. So yeah, I don't. It's hard for me to speculate on whether that would happen because it didn't.
Terrell said you put way too much blame on yourself after the game. When you went back and watched the film, did you notice anything? Yeah,
I mean, I think the old adage is never as bad as you think. I mean, you look at it and you see the tape, and so it was certainly helpful for me to do that. In that moment after that game, it was tough. Considering all circumstances and where we're at. It was heavy, but at the same time, those no matter you just as a quarterback you go, man, what could I have done to make it better every time, and sometimes it may be clearly your fault and then sometimes it may not be, but at the end of the day you go, man, how can I fix it and how can I make it right no matter what, and so that's just how I'm wired. It's just, what could I do to fix it? But you look at the tape and realize, there were a lot of good things that we did, and certainly starting out fast again, it was a good thing, and those are things to build on, because if you can play that kind of football, where you can start fast in the first half and get on people, and then limit the mistakes in the second half and become a better second half team, then you got a chance to win a lot of ball games because of that. Because getting an early lead is huge, and so yeah. Looking at the tape, I was probably harder on myself Sunday than maybe I should have been, but at the end of the day, like I said, it comes from a place of wanting to win and wanting to try to fix every problem, and sometimes you got to be careful. That kind of weight that you put on yourself, because you can only do so much. So learn from it and move on.
A lot of attention, with Dallas coming in, a lot of the attention's on the offense and where they are there. But as you look at them from the defensive perspective, what do you see? What makes them so good and tough?
Yeah, they play hard. That's the first thing I'll say about that group is they play with a lot of energy. They play hard. I know Coach Marinelli, and I know that's what he's about. And you look at a group that played them a few years ago when they were kind of retooling it when he first got there, and to see how that group has taken on his mindset and how they're playing that the way that system's supposed to be played. It's impressive, and they're certainly, playing at a high level from the sense that they're executing within the way he wants them to play that defense. We know we'll have our hands full because they fly around. Sean Lee's an excellent player, kind of drives that thing and gets them going, and the front plays really hard. They're playing complementary football to what their offense is providing for them too. So we know we'll have our hands full. But again, we like our matchups too, and so we'll look at where we can find those matchups and try to exploit them like we do every week, and trust that Coach Jackson and the guys will put together a good plan for us to be able to do that.
With the record what it is it a challenge to keep the thought of ON out of people's minds?
Yeah, I think it's naive to say anything else, because it certainly, every week you for us now is that's a challenge. But I think it's one you hate to be in that situation, but it's kind of, if you look at the challenges that you could face in this league, it's probably the hardest one and the toughest one, and so to me, when you're building something and you want to lay a great foundation, and so what a not ideal, but the way that you can lay that foundation to build tough-minded people is to be able to have a group of guys that comes to work every week and works hard and does what they're supposed to do, no matter what. And I think if you can build that kind of inner toughness, that it doesn't matter, what the record is. We're going to keep coming to work. We're going to try to work to get better. I believe wholeheartedly that can sustain success long term. But you have to have a lot of tough guys to learn that and to carry that, and so it's not the best situation right now. None of us would ask to be, but this is where we are, and we're going to keep fighting, and everybody in the locker room is going to keep fighting, and that's the head coach's mentality, and we'll follow his lead, and so when you have an unfortunate year like this where things haven't gone your way, you have to find value in it. And I think the value for us is the ability to keep coming to work, keep detailing out our work, regardless of what our record says, because that in and of itself is going to build toughness that I think we'll benefit from in the future.
Josh, you had so much success with Corey Coleman against Baltimore. What do you think getting him back can do for the offense?
Anytime you got a playmaker like Corey, it's obviously a great add to your offense because that we've seen Terrell kind of come along and emerge, and Hawk was making plays of the day, and Gary and Duke, and so it takes when you add another playmaker, it kind of takes the pressure and some of the strain off the other guys too, and so that's a helpful balance. But we're excited to have Corey back, and excited to see him get his hands on the football and do what he does. There's a reason why we picked him in the first round, and it's because his playmaking ability, and so you add that guy back to the offense and take some of the things that we've been doing, the positive things that have been happening, and you feel like there's a ton of room for more growth, and so it's exciting.
4 of the 8 losses have come after holding leads in the second half. Do you see that as a group effort, or can you pinpoint one thing?
Yeah, I think it's just all of us, especially the vets, got to really step up in the second half and in those moments and pull it along, because when you're a young football team, those are some of the things that happen to young football teams. I think is that you can get a lead, but you don't necessarily aren't able to hold on to it, and so I think it's on us as veterans to continue to pull those guys along, and it really is, it's 5 or 6 plays every game, and it's what are we doing to make those plays, and to change the outcome of the game. And so, like I said, some of the things that build into that is, like I said earlier, you know, when you come to work and you battle through some of this stuff, and this adversity, that's the kind of toughness that builds in you that eventually it's the reason why you win some of those games, because you have that toughness that carries you through a whole 4 quarters. And
It's on the offense as much as the defense?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Because and I think everybody has to take that approach. That's what I mean. Collectively, every person in every teams group, whether it's offense, defense, or special team, has to take the approach that I have to do my job to affect the outcome in this game and help us win this football game, and take that personal, because you just don't know when that play is going to be that play until after the game's over. And so it's internalizing that for every man to be able to say, you know what, this might be the play, so I got to step up and do my job right here. And because this might be the one that we point back to say, man, that was the turning point, or that was a turning point. And so I think all of us, we look back and we have 4 or 5 plays every game, and you go, man, if that was different. I have a couple throws that last week, I go, man, if that was different, we may win the game. And so it's just a group learning to come together and do that, and I think we will, because I think we're building towards that, as we grow with this young group.
Josh, do you pay much mind to the fact there's a Game 7 in the World Series up the street today?
Heck yeah! What are you talking about? I mean, it's Game 7. Are you kidding me? That's anytime, in sports. You get to a Game 7, it's exciting, man. I pay attention to it. I wish they would move the start time up, because I get kind of tired. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting for our city, and like I said, we've starting back in June with the Cavs, and now with these guys, it's for us. It gives a great energy and hope and inspiration that you build it the right way and you keep working at it, it can turn, because we understand looking back at the history of those franchises, that they've had ups and downs and things like that, and so we're trying to get to that place where they are. And so what better motivation and inspiration that you can have than those two things happening in your city, because you get to see it firsthand. And so
Did you play a lot of baseball to where you can kind of relate to what's going on a baseball field, even at that high level?
Yeah, I mean, if by relate you mean when a guy strikes out, I can certainly relate. But I played enough. I pitched a little bit, and it just I don't know. I like faster paced kind of things, so I kind of gravitate towards basketball a little bit more. But I still enjoy and have so much respect for when you watch a guy like Aroldis Chapman step up there and pitch and throw the ball as hard as he does, and it's just fascinating to me that somebody can hit it, and just yeah, exactly, yeah. But that anybody can hit those pitches, and it's just impressive to me, and the skill that they have to play that sport is special, and so I have a ton of respect for it because of that. But it's exciting. I'm ready for tonight. It'll be fun.
Like happened on that fly ball in the first thing. It's a joke.
Yeah. I don't know. That brings up like little league nightmares. Like but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch, and for them to be at this point is so cool. And just to see, it's just strategy with the way that the guys are managing the games on both sides. It's been I think entertaining from the sense if you love sports, just what they're doing, what both clubs are doing, and so it'll be really entertaining for the city of Cleveland when we win tonight.
I'm sure you watched film of him less than a month ago. What did you guys get in Jamie Collins?
Yeah, we did, and I mean, this is when we turned on that tape and we were watching it. My first thought was, that dude is, he's a heck of a player. He's one of the better players in the NFL, in my opinion, on defense. And because he's just so versatile, and so I think it was a heck of a move for us to be able to acquire him, and looking forward to get him in here and to help our team and what he can bring from being at a place like New England, who obviously is such a gold standard for our league. To add somebody like that who has that kind of experience, I think is great for us. It's great for our locker room, and then his ability to play the game at such a high level, I think will hopefully pay dividends down the road. But we turned on that tape, and I was very impressed with him a few weeks ago, whenever it was that we played him. So glad he's on our side now.